morning. It's time for another installment of the diversity how-tos, and today let's get into some real nitty-gritty. Let's jump right into it. I would just today I'm going to discuss how to get into business, specifically the minority business culture. If um, if you're don't have a lot of cash flow, your cash flow is kind of minimum. Let me set up a scenario for you. Let's say you've been in the business for maybe 10, 15 years. You work for a contractor, whether it's a minority or majority contractor. You're a project manager type estimator or something of those sorts. You're not necessarily a trades guy, so you can't really do the work yourself, but you want to go into business. You think it's time. Um, you feel that you have what it takes to be in business and to run a successful business. You made some contacts, like I said, you've been in the business for a while, and you've been successful at the things that you've done. You've been successful at management. You've been successful at management of people. You know the business. You know the array of nuances about um, being in being in this type of business, especially at the public sector, hard dollar bid, construction management, presentations, marketing, the whole thing. You just know it all. You're ready to go. You ready to go. Let's say your 30s, mid 30s, 40s. You got some really good experience. You know your stuff. You're highly respected within that community. Let's say you could be married, you got a couple of kids. You're doing the house, the car, the whole thing, the soccer practices and all that sort of thing. So your money's kind of tight. You could be considered maybe middle class, upper middle class. Your wife is working and all that. She's supportive of what you want to do, but you don't have the resources right now to just all out quit your job and you know go out and lease an office space somewhere and be able to support a payroll, whether it's or support some subcontractors for 30 to 60 days, or wait up until you can get your hands on a couple contracts here and there. So you're kind of in between of working on your own, because like I said, you can't just go out and do the work yourself, because you're more of a manager type, engineer type. So you're stuck in between wanting to work on your own, and you're still working this other company, which is a very well paying job. So you kind of walk on a fine line there. So what I'm my advice, what I'm offering it to you is, what do you do in a situation like that to get yourself going? This is one of many scenarios that I will set up for you to just to see how you should proceed forward. So with a situation like this, you kind of strapped for cash, but you get your hands on some money. Maybe let's say at the most $10,000. You can get your hands on $10,000 in cash. And that's it. You don't have any contracts yet. You're not set up for business yet. Um, this is an idea. It's beyond just thinking about it. You're ready to go, and this is your starting point. So what do? Um, what I would do is, this is my advice. How to kind of break in slowly and easily. I think one of the first things that you need, that you should get accustomed to, is you got to start getting money. You got to start getting receivables. You got to have a bread and butter. That's a lot of things minority companies miss out on and don't understand that concept, is because they're waiting for these big projects to be given to them, or projects as joint ventures or construction management projects, or they're waiting for these government programs. But I think all in all, you got to have cash flow. You got to start getting receivables in. So how do you do that? I think one of the best and ways to kind of slide yourself into this industry, kind of on the slide, you're working for somebody else, is to get into some consulting first. This is one of a couple things I'm gonna suggest. Try some consulting. When I say consulting, I'm talking scheduling, which is a really good one. Scheduling, because you want to work your way toward these certifications. That's what you want to do. Because we're talking in a minority diversity culture. Okay, let's be straight. Okay, so you're trying to work your way toward these certifications. But then work your way toward your certification, you got to be in business for a certain amount of time. Most applications also ask for that you show some sort of tax returns that you've done this business for maybe it's a year or two. So let's say you do. Let me see. You learn scheduling. So that, like I said, this is where that little bit of money you have has to go toward. This is not an overnight process. So you're learning you learn how to do scheduling. You learn the different the most up to date version of the Primavera package of scheduling. You learn it inside out, whether you take classes or you already know it from your job. So you learning this, and you kind of start putting the word out there that you can help smaller companies, maybe even like companies that do commercial work, like retail and whatnot. You can help schedule. You can do their scheduling for them, because it's kind of a different arena that you're working in, so your name doesn't collide um, to the top people who you work for. You know what I'm saying? So like if you work for a company that's doing public bids, and so which like when I say public, city, state, federal, you try to do work scheduling, or lead. You'd be a lead consultant, or BIM if you can learn BIM and whatnot. You try to do work maybe on a large residential, um, or commercial, retail, that sort of thing. So you don't collide with who you work for. So your name is not, hey, are you doing some stuff on the side? That kind of thing. So and you offer your services for value, very 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 good value. Because you're trying to get jobs under your belt. You're trying to get work under your belt, that you're doing this. You know what I mean? This is what you're trying to do. Okay, so that's one aspect to kind of break in, kind of softly, kind of slowly, is go after a consulting sort of method. You know what I'm saying? Another method you can go after, I think, is good as let me see. Oh, a lot of cities at the city level, at the state level, I think too, has at the county level has programs for micro businesses. Construction programs for micro businesses, where they offer jobs that don't require bonds, um, don't require all the necessary paperwork that you would normally have to bid, a larger public project, like $15,000 and under. Like I was once involved in a program for the county of Cuyahoga, which is Cleveland, for rehabbing low income units when people moved out. So when people moved out, we came in and rehabbed the units. I didn't have to have a bond. I had to show I had payroll, but I used I-9s and whatnot. And the jobs were like $7,000. The jobs we can do ourselves. Even though I'm not a tradesman. I'm an estimator, project manager type, but the work that had to be done in there was pretty minimal, like flooring, painting, wall patching, minor electrical. So you can find a little bit of contractors you need, because you've been doing this for a while. So you can find some guys that could do it in their off time, or find some smaller contractors, to do this work for you. And we did the work, believe it or not, in the evenings and on weekends, And I had a full-time job when I was doing this. And I had a guy down there that was working for me. He was a contractor himself. He was a painter. So because the majority of the work was painting. So you can always put like whatever the majority of the work is, you can put a guy down there and have the guy going. This is part of the money that you have, that $10,000 to pay this person till you get paid. And normally on these smaller type of deals, they try to pay you within 30 days, because they know you're not as liquid financially as some of the larger companies. So you got to do your research and find these type of opportunities for like smaller, micro type of businesses. $15,000 and under. And these are good. These are good to get you going though, real good. Another one you can do is get into the residential renovation market. Do little jobs for people. Do some painting jobs. Like I said, you're trying to get this work under your belt. Do some painting jobs. You're a manager. Remember, you're a manager. Hey, do some bigger renovation jobs on folks' houses, because when you're in this kind of business, people are always asking you to do something. Do some decks, do some add-ons, some big ones. Try to get your hands on a couple big ones. Maybe one every season, like one big one a season. Because remember, this is a process. This is not something you're gonna do overnight. Some kitchen renovation. A couple guys. Get in there and do some work. So. Or the last thing I can suggest is, and this is a whole business in itself. But like I said, if you got the money, or if you can get into this, maybe try some house flipping. Maybe try to get your hands on a house, a couple of those. This will help get your money up, and it helps show a history that you are in business doing this. Because a lot of minority contractors in the area that I'm from have actually started off from flipping houses and whatnot. getting their hands on property, renting them out. And that also helps too. When you got these properties, these small apartment buildings, these houses, this helps for when you start getting bigger, that you can start getting bonding. Because to get bonding, you got to have assets. You know what I'm saying? You got to have things that are worth money. So you can kind of work your way into, owning these properties, start getting better and better properties. So that's another suggestion too. But you can do a mixture of two or three. To do some consulting with the, let's say you're doing scheduling for smaller You could do scheduling for contractors that's in this small business. $15,000 and under. You can do scheduling for them. Do it. Tell them, hey, $100, whatever, something cheap. As long as you're getting the work down, that you're doing the work and you're getting paid for it, and the money, you're getting checks, and the money's going to a bank, and you can do this stuff on your taxes. You can put this work on your taxes. Okay, that's what you're looking for, because you're trying to build a history, trying to show that you're a legitimate contractor and you do this work. So that's the 4 suggestions that I offered. And to get around, another thing I also suggest: urban leagues, NAACPs, larger contractors, the county, the city, the states. They have all kind of programs and workshops that for you to go to even if you even know this stuff, they'll have like classes and stuff, but they have all kind of financial workshops and just different workshops you can go to learn how to run a small business. But you'll know a lot of that. Stop, my dog again. You'll know a lot of this stuff, but go to these workshops to establish the relationships. Okay, to start meeting people, start knowing people. Because eventually you're going to be able to have to branch out on your own. And there's going to be a point in time where you have to have a bridge between you're working for somebody and when you're on your own. Like I said, you got to have that money coming in. You got to have that money coming in. So that's the whole key to all this. Then you can kind of start working your way. Then you get your business, get your certifications. You start. This is another episode. Then you start getting into being a subcontractor, doing small jobs. A little bit bigger than the 15, maybe going to $50,000 to $100,000 jobs. Because in a lot of states, you can bid a job that's less than $50,000, I think, without a bond, where you can just put up 10% of the estimate of what it's worth. And this is if you got a little bit more money. But at the meantime, you're trying to softly work your way toward your business. Remember, you're trying to work your way toward getting the certifications. And that's four suggestions that I have for people that's trying to get into business. Okay. All right, you got any questions or comments, just email me. The email address is Joony, Joony, Tuff, Tuff, @gmail.com. I'm going to change that pretty soon. Or leave a comment, and I'll answer any questions that you might have, And as I look around YouTube and all that and look at the different videos, there's a plethora of people who can teach you the nuts and bolts of the things that I'm telling you, how to get your certifications, which ones you should go after, which sector should you work in, whether it's federal, city, state, depending on what you're doing or what you're trying to do. Do you want to be a highway? Is your background highway, heavy road, wastewater, vertical construction, you want to be a sub, you want to be a flooring contractor. So it's so much. It's so much. And there's room for more, especially good ones. Trust me. There's room for more. I'm in Chicago right now, and they're struggling finding, and this is in a lot of major metropolitan areas, they're struggling finding qualified minority contractors that will actually do the work. There's a lot of them on the books, but can they do the work, or are they pass through? So that's the thing you want to do. You want to be a viable, legitimate minority diversity business contractor. Okay, there's no limits. There's no limits there. Something you can leave a legacy to your children and whatnot. So all right, that's it. I'm out. Hope you enjoy.